I'm going to be honest with you guys, out of every Amazon strategy breakdown on YouTube, this will be the most clear, the most useful one you watch. Because by the end of this video, you won't just understand wholesale, bundles, A2A, private label. You'll actually know which one is the right fit for you based on your money, your experience, and your goals. I'm going to break down every single strategy with real logic and a full ranking system right at the end. If you want clarity, take notes. But if you're looking for shortcuts, please just go off to another channel. Now, before we choose a strategy, you guys need to understand the foundation that every Amazon business is built on. There are only really two types of selling models in Amazon FBA: selling on an existing listing or creating a brand new listing. Now, selling on an existing listing, this is something like RA, OA, wholesale, A2A, brand direct. All of this will make sense once I go through it. Now, as for creating a brand new listing, these look like private label or unique bundles. Now, the main difference is with selling on an existing listing, you have to compete for something that's called the buy box. This is not something you have to compete for when you're creating a brand new listing, as you own the listing completely. If you're not sure what the buy box is, I'll be posting a detailed explanation of what strategies it applies to and what exactly it is on YouTube, so make sure you subscribe and watch out for any more videos. But coming back to creating a brand new listing, now in this method, you own the listing, therefore you create the images, you own the content, you create the price as well. And those two methods are the entire Amazon ecosystem. But let's go ahead and break down each strategy clearly. So there's 7 main strategies people talk about. There's retail arbitrage, there's OA, there's A2A, there's wholesale, brand direct, private label, and unique bundles. Each one has a different cost, different risk level, and different scalability. So let's start off with RA. Now, retail arbitrage is the lowest barrier to entry. The basic premise of it is you walk into a shop, you scan a clearance item, you check if it's profitable on Amazon, and then you send that into Amazon to sell. Now, the good things about retail arbitrage is the cheapest way to start, is a very fast learning curve, and it gives you quick cash flow. Now, the bad things about RA, it is not as scalable compared to other methods on Amazon FBA. The supply can dry up, there's many brand restrictions. At the end of the day, you're trading time for money. As long as you're finding deals in shopping centers, in stores, you're making money. But the moment you stop doing that, your business goes to zero. Now, I'm not saying this is the worst method on Amazon, but every business model has its pros and cons, and you need to be aware of those before you step in. This sort of business model is ideal for someone who's looking to start Amazon FBA and only has £200 to £300 of capital. Moving on to online arbitrage. Now, OA is basically retail arbitrage, but online. Instead of going into store, you scan deals online and find profitable items as such. The pros, you get to work from home, is much easier to outsource, and there's moderate scalability. The cons, however, there's lots of competition, you rely on other people's listings, prices can tank, and margins can shrink as other sellers pile on. This is best for someone who has around £200 to £500 and is looking for consistent micro flips. Let's move on to the next one, Amazon to Amazon. A2A is basically flipping products between marketplaces such as Amazon EU and Amazon UK, or you buy a product that goes down in price from Amazon and then you sell it when it goes back up. Now, this is a good ROI, it's simple to understand, and it's low cost as well. However, as for cons, your orders do get cancelled quite often. There's no stability to it, it's not predictable, it's not a business, it is flipping products at the end of the day, and Amazon can block this at any time. This would be best for people who want quick flips, but this does not build long-term systems. Now, moving on to the wholesale method. Now, this is something I used to do for quite a while before I transitioned into another strategy, which we'll go through later. Wholesale is when you step into actual business territory. You buy branded products in bulk from distributors and sell that on already existing listings on Amazon. Now, wholesale typically earns around 15 to 25% gross margins. Now, this isn't life-changing profit, but it is very scalable when you input systems. Now, most people won't tell you the downsides, so I will. Let's focus on the pros. You get stable supply, you get predictable cash flow, it's much easier to systemize, and you can scale to 6 figures monthly. However, let's move on to the cons. You don't control the listing, sellers are always fighting price wars, margins will shrink, suppliers cut sellers all the time, and this isn't the business with the best multiple when you come to exit it. However, it's a good business model for people with around 1.5 to 3K or beyond, people who want stability but not brand ownership. Now, moving on to brand direct. Now, this is basically wholesale, but the next level. Instead of buying from a distributor, you're going straight to the brand and increasing your profits. The pros, best pricing, much fewer sellers, stronger margins, exclusive deals available, and more long-term stability. However, the cons, it's much harder to open accounts, you have no control over the listing, and there's higher minimum orders. This is best for sellers that can incorporate systems into their business, and they should have at least 3 to 10K capital. Now, moving on to the notorious private label. Now, private label is creating your own brand from scratch. It gives the highest upside, but also has the highest rate of failure. Now, pros, the margins are good. You get 30 to 50% margins. You own the listing, it's under your trademark, so you have complete protection. You're building an asset with that trademark, you're building a brand. Therefore, there's a very high exit potential individual, you can sell this business for a very good multiple. Now the cons, private label is one of the most expensive routes to take on Amazon. You need at least 5 to 10K to start properly. There's a very high product risk and it requires skill sets such as PPC, branding, optimization. This method also has much longer lead times. It might take a month or even more for your product to get to you. And now, not to scare you, but statistically, a lot of beginners that try a private label do fail. This business is good for people with long-term vision, marketing skills, and sufficient capital. Now, let's talk about the model that I personally run, something called unique bundles. Now, unique bundles is the sweet spot between wholesale and private label. Now, what we do is combine a demand-heavy branded product with a complementary accessory. Create a brand new listing that only you control. Now, why do I and all my students do unique bundles instead of all the other models on Amazon FBA? Well, this is why it works. So you avoid competition by selling on saturated listings. You don't go through any price wars because you're the only seller on these listings. There's no need to manufacture your product, so there's no lead time, and you do not need anywhere near 10K capital. A lot of students have done well with just 2K starting capital. You get private label benefits with wholesale costs. You get to build a portfolio of micro assets. Each bundle matures. It gets more and more sales each and every month if you do your listing and your advertising correctly. Now, as for margins, typically we look at 25 to 50% gross margin depending on your niche, but this isn't that far off from private label. Coming into control, you own the listing completely. You control the images, title, keywords, PPC, your strategy, and the ranking. No other existing model gives you this sort of control at this sort of capital. This is best for people who have 2 to 5K that want brand control, long-term sustainability without gambling their money. Now it's time for the final ranking system. So the best strategies for low budgets, RA and OA. The best strategies for consistent cash flow, wholesale and brand direct. Best for control and high margins, unique bundles. The best for long-term brand empires, private label, and the best for quick flips would be A2A. It's about matching the model to the person, not forcing yourself through the wrong strategy. Now, one thing you need to understand, Amazon is not a quick win platform. You will face problems, you will solve problems, and the sellers who stay consistent will win. Pick the right model, stick with it, and stop jumping around. If you want help choosing the right strategy and launching it properly, DM me the word bundle. I'll put my social media platforms up here and I'll send you my free guide for Amazon FBA.